Hey guys, and welcome back to the Blankneys. Today we're going to be taking you through what a typical day looks like for us. Our days start early. Today Keegan woke up at 2 a.m. as soon as I did. Keegan's dad and I run a 24-hour schedule. He watches him during the night and I watch him during the day to make sure whatever needs he might need that day are taken care of no matter the hour. As soon as Keegan wakes up, I get him changed and ready for the day. For the sake of time in this video, I will go over some things in depth once, but most of these things you'll see we repeat several times throughout the day. As many of you are already aware, Keegan has a G-tube, so what I'm doing is venting Keegan's extra gas in his stomach into a syringe. This is very important because it allows us to relieve the pain and discomfort he would be experiencing otherwise. Keegan recently had surgery this year to get an ileostomy bag placed. So next I will change his diaper and drain his ostomy bag. This belt on Keegan's stomach discreetly covers Keegan's ostomy bag and stoma. The bag gets changed every 3 to 4 days. If you're curious on why Keegan has an ileostomy bag placed and the care behind it, I will link that video in the description for you. You'll see that we keep a G-tube pad around his G-tube site. Since it does have some drainage that comes from that area, this prevents it from irritating his skin, and we just need to clean that area and replace it with a clean pad once a day. I'm not sure where you get this no-rinse solution, other than the generous nurses who sent us home from the hospital with many bottles, but I'm sure a warm washcloth would be just as fine. It's practically winter in Colorado and very dry, so I apply a lotion to Keegan every morning and again on nights he has baths. Once we've gotten Keegan dressed, we usually brush his teeth. For years now, I've been using a Baby Buddy 360 vibrating toothbrush. I've always been able to find these and their replacement brushes on Amazon. They recently stopped carrying them, so I got another toothbrush I found on Amazon. Of course, I had every battery but AAA, so I eventually figured out that you can actually just use the replacement brushes from this toothbrush that I got on Amazon on your Baby Buddy. So here's that if you want to try it. Keegan's very helpful and really likes brushing his own teeth, so I make sure I just get a good brush in before I let him do his own thing. Usually Keegan doesn't wake up this early. He typically wakes up between 4 and 6 a.m., but since he got up early, he's just going to watch cartoons and hang out while I get my work done and out of the way. We own our own business and work from home to be able to care for Keegan ourselves, so sometimes that means wearing 3 or 4 hats at once, but we don't mind at all. That's why we do what we do, to be able to have the flexibility to adapt to Keegan's always changing schedule. This is typically the time Keegan would wake up, so I'm going to start the rest of our morning routine now. If you don't know, I'm Keegan's CNA and required to chart all of his requirements on his daily care plan. So basically I don't have to do anything more than I already do for Keegan as a mom. But usually an at-home service is provided with the CNA. We just didn't feel comfortable with somebody we didn't know caring for Keegan in our home. So I went back to school to become qualified last year. I set many reminders for myself throughout the day. The first one goes off at 6 a.m. when we give Keegan morning meds. These are various anti-epileptic medications as well as some medications for his GI issues. It's important these are given on schedule every day at the same time for them to be the most effective. Since we've had the G-tube placed, it really has helped so much with Keegan's seizure control and the process in which we give medications. It doesn't hurt Keegan at all to have his G-tube, and if you're not familiar with what they are, this is basically a port that we're able to administer medications and food through to bypass taking them by mouth. Keegan's been showing interest in taking things by mouth again, so we hope that the G-tube won't be a forever thing, but only time will tell. We run a tight ship around here, so after I'm done giving meds, it's about the only time I have to myself to clean. Thankfully, I have a really helpful husband who helps clean while we're sleeping, so my mornings are pretty easy. and I can usually get it all done within 30 minutes right before Keegan gets his first feed. Keegan has been working so hard on walking, crawling around on his knees everywhere and pulling himself to stand. So what do we feed Keegan? Mostly formula. And again, for the sake of time, I'm just going to be showing this once. Keegan's formula is a mixture of Elecare Jr., an amino acid-based formula, and Pedialyte. For now, the Joey pump administers 6 feeds to Keegan throughout the day to ensure he is getting the correct nutrition. Once I've prepared the formula, I can adjust the settings and prime the pump so it's ready for use. Just in time for Keegan's first feed. Since it was an early morning, Keegan ended up going down for a morning nap pretty fast. Mike wakes up around 8, and while Keegan sleeps, we work. Even though we work in the same house, we really tend to do our own thing. Since Keegan's sleeping, we're just going to show you how easy it is to access his G-tube port to give him things like feeds or medication even while he's sleeping. Shortly after, we woke him up because our therapists all start to arrive soon. Again, we just have to vent his gas, change his diaper, and drain his ostomy bag. We've been learning how to eat for the second time, which we're so excited about. So we're just washing and drying our hands before we eat. If you didn't see our last video or you're new here, make sure to like or follow us. And make sure you ring the notifications bell to keep updated on any new videos we put out. Each week we start off with music therapy on Tuesdays. Keegan works on participating in singing and strumming the guitar. He's very vocal and loves to sing along with his therapist. On Wednesdays, we have OT in the morning. Keegan works on hand-eye coordination and learning how to firmly grasp and pull out or take out objects. Time for another feed. And later on that day, he has PT, which he's so close to walking again for the second time. We'll make sure to put up a video on that progression soon. Then we end our week on Thursdays with our feeding/speech therapist, who has been mostly working on pairing simple word phrases with everyday tasks to encourage speech, and also a big motivator has been the food lately. You can see all that nonverbal communication. Again, we just have to vent his gas, change his diaper, and drain his ostomy bag. After the therapists leave, it's time to wind down with Dad while Mom cooks some dinner. We start his feed with our dinner as well. It's so nice that we can all eat together as a family again. I really cherish watching these two. While they finish up dinner, I'm gonna go gather the supplies for Keegan's bath. We have tons of supplies for Keegan. G-tube supplies, ostomy supplies, and other supplies. Keegan takes a bath every 3 to 4 days every time his ostomy bag needs changed. It's honestly a job for both of us just to help one another get this done. But if you want to see a full ostomy bag change, we've linked that in the description below. And after that, it's time for night meds. After night meds, Keegan and I are both out like a light around 6:30, 7 p.m. Mike stays up overnight to make sure there's no seizure activity. Even though we are almost 11 months seizure free, this is the only thing that gives us peace of mind. This gives Mike time to clean, work, play video games, and catch up on life.
So this is a typical day in our lives without any extra therapy visits or hospital visits. We did have one last week. He did have a GI bug, so we do have to go in for replacement fluids and just to make sure he doesn't get dehydrated. But we were only in there for less than 24 hours. We went in there as a precaution, and luckily, he's doing great and nothing bad came out of it.
It sucks that we missed Halloween, but thankfully he's doing so much better now. So if you guys have any questions about our daily routine, leave a comment for us below. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.